They say Mother Earth is breathing with each wave that finds the shore. Her soul rises in the evening for to open twilight's door. Her eyes are the stars in heaven, watching o'er us all the while. And her heart, it is in Ireland, deep within the Emerald Isle. We are 40 against hundreds in someone else's bloody war. We know not why we're fighting or what we're dying for. They will storm us in the morning when the sunlight turns the sky. Death is waiting for its dance now. Fate has sentenced us to die. Ireland, I am coming home. I can see rolling fields of green and fences made of stone. I am reaching out. Won't you take my hand? I'm coming home. Ireland. Oh, the captain, he lay bleeding, and I can hear him calling me.
Three-two from Dominguez. And Winker strokes one deep left center field. Back goes Mullins near the wall. It's out of here! Jesse Winker's first home run as a New York Met is a walk-off shot in the bottom of the ninth. And the Mets do it again with the game-winning home run by Winker. They take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles.
All right, welcome to Sports Talk with Chris Heidel, and Winker sends the Birds south for a while. After a walk-off home run to beat the first place Orioles, 2 out of 3. So good job for the Mets. They're on their way to San Diego this evening to play the Padres for 4. Folks, welcome to Sports Talk with Chris Heidel here on a finally, folks, it's football week. So we're going to be talking some baseball. We're going to talk some college football because we got some coaches coming on from Towson, and Morgan State's going to be joining us. Plus, we'll head on west throughout to Montana State because Montana State's playing New Mexico State this weekend as well. One of the games on the slates that you can watch later on. I think that's on CBS Sports Network.
On FS1.
FS1. Wow, that's a weird game. Yeah. So and then we'll be here this Saturday, folks. After the game, we'll be doing our post-game show, and hopefully we'll have some great former Florida State players joining us on the show. So that'll be really cool. We're still working on finalizing some people. We might get Marvin Jones to join us, former guy used to play for the Jets. Yeah.
Or Travis Newholm.
Yes. So Adam, after how many weeks we've been talking about this? I think we've been talking about this game since after the debacle of the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Yeah.
Only here.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tomorrow is there's 2 more days before the game. So what's your thinking of? I think I think Florida State's going to tell everybody like that guy Paul Kleinbaum. Hey, Paul, if you're watching us, you don't know anything about football, dude. Okay?
It's called.
So
Hey,
go
it's
grab
called.
a pad.
Yeah, it's
You
called.
want to hit somebody.
We're going to show the nation that last year's team was no fluke, and it's called. We're going to come in madder than a hornet's nest, and we're going to go to Ireland, and we're going to take the sting out of Georgia Tech, and then we're going to come home, and
I think we got something for that, Adam. Wait a minute. I think our marketing department.
Hold
on a second, folks. This is just dedicated to the Yellow Jackets. Hold on.
It's one sweet hangout.
More like a final resting place.
That's what we're gonna do. It's called we're gonna raid Dublin, and we're gonna take the sting out of Georgia Tech, and we're gonna come back home and prove to the nation once and for all that we are the defending ACC champs. Mm-hmm. And if you want to beat us, you have to get through us, and it ain't going to be no easy task. Because from what I've seen, it's called from what I've seen, Chris, and heard, our defensive line is good, if not better than what we saw last year. So, if you're watching this right now in Dublin, I know it's probably after midnight. I hope you're ready to get sacked.
Yes. And also, we want to say a shout out to the Florida State radio broadcast, Jeff Cohan and the rest of the guys. I think tomorrow, he told us when he was on a show 2 weeks ago, they have some trip to the brewery.
Yeah.
I would love to get him on next week and ask him how was the trip to the brewery.
I think they're going
got lost. Yeah.
Yes, I think they're going to the Guinness Brewery.
Yeah.
And they're going to have, and it's called, and folks, right now Dublin is filled in the garnet and gold. It's called, from what I've seen and from what you've seen, Chris, online, it's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of
it's supposed to be a lot of people
made the trip over from Tallahassee over to Dublin, and I think 3/4 of the stadium over there is going to be covered in garnet and gold.
Well, I think I'm wearing my jersey tomorrow.
So it's kind of get your snacks ready, get your food ready, and
let's get this Knicks guy on to start the show here. We're going to take a little break in the action. We're going to talk Baltimore Oriole baseball because everybody's talking about how the 2024 Orioles are similar to a team that, here at the, the friendly confines, like they're battling the Yankees just like they did back in 1983. So let's bring in Bill Swaggerty here.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Bill. You are live on the program. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, everyone.
Sorry, I didn't give you a heads up. We were trying to get everything all lined up here tonight. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're like caught off guard. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem.
So just talk about your take on the 2024 Orioles right now, because everybody's comparing to the team that you were part of in 1983.
Yeah. We just didn't have those many injuries. I tell you what, they're holding themselves together with Band-Aids and tape, and it's amazing that they're still able to keep their head above water.
Yeah, after a tough 3 days at Citi Field, now they're home against the Astros. So do you think they have the pitching to make it to October?
Gosh, I want to think so, but I'm not confident.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, even though they're giving these young kids a chance. And I'm hoping that one or two of them will rise to the occasion and surprise everybody. But, man, we got all our starters out. It's amazing that we're still doing as good as we're doing.
Yeah. I think it's really hard playing 162 games a year. And people don't realize it's a lot of toll on your body because you play how many exhibition games? 20? So basically you almost play 180 games pretty much, and your body takes a toll on yourself.
It's a lot.
It's a lot on you.
It's a lot, and almost every day. and then there's the travel, and it always creeps into the situation. But it's not easy, that's for sure.
Exactly. I was just reading your bio, and I want to say I went to your college one time, Stephen University, and it was a very nice baseball field you guys have down there.
Oh, it wasn't that great when I played, but that was over 40 years ago. But it is awesome now. Yeah,
I was there. It was funny. I was down there for like a birthday weekend or something. I was like, I want to travel around the whole state of Florida and cover sporting events. And I was like, oh, let me go to Delaware, Florida. And I'm like, where is this Delaware, Florida thing is? And I'm driving up, going past, we were down near Kissimmee and I went up, 4 and I'm like, wow, this is the middle of nowhere, Yeah. Like, geez.
It is. But I tell you, when I went there in 1978 and 79, we were a very small Division I school. We had 1,800 full-time students, and we were competing D1 schools. We played all the big Miami, Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Jacksonville, South Carolina, Alabama, New Orleans. We played all the big boys. And they just got better. Now we've got 2 Cy Young Award winners from Stetson.
Yeah, a guy named one guy is he used to play for the Mets, DeGrom. Yeah,
DeGrom.
And he was a shortstop too.
Kluber from Cleveland.
Yeah, and the funny thing with DeGrom, he was a shortstop.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're not going to put you at shortstop. We want to see you can pitch. And he's like, okay. Yeah. I'm like,
who wins the Cy Young?
Twice, back-to-back seasons. So it's like I guess the Mets are smart about that.
Yes.
So you came up in the major leagues this time, on August 13th, 1983, after a couple years down in the minors. So what was it like getting that phone call? Because we had some of the former Orioles on here, and I said, what was it like getting the phone call? And some are like, well, some of the coaches like looking at me going, oh, you're going to Baltimore. I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? Yeah.
Right.
So what was it like getting the phone call saying, Bill, they need you to 33rd Street. Let's go.
Well, it happened to me after a ball game in Rochester. So I got called into the manager's office.
Okay.
And in AAA, towards the end of the year, when you haven't done anything wrong and you get called into the manager's office, the whole locker room kind of stopped. And they're watching the door for you to come out, and they're looking for a sign, whether you're upset, pissed off, or happy. And what Lance Nichols was our manager, and when I went in there, he said, I got some good news, buddy. He said, you just got called up to Baltimore, so you need to go get your suitcase packed, grab a sports coat, and here's your plane ticket, and you're going to meet them in Chicago first thing tomorrow morning. So it was like, oh my gosh, my dream has finally come true, because that's all I've ever wanted to do growing up. Is I wanted to play baseball and I want to play at the big leagues.
Nice.
And so it was amazing. What a feeling.
Yeah. Let me bring my colleague Adam, he loves the Atlanta Braves and the Boston Red Sox. I don't know why.
Yes, I do. Okay, so you played in the Cape Cod League back in the day, and the Cape Cod League today is one of the premier places, for college kids to go play, summer baseball. So what was it like to play in the Cape Cod League back in the day?
Oh, I had no idea what to expect. Black is in the middle of nowhere where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to high school here, then I went to St. John's River Junior College for 2 years here in Palatka. So my first cut for the outside world was Stetson. And after my junior year, Coach Jim Ward asked me, he said, how would you like to play summer ball in the Cape Cod League? I had never heard of it. I had no idea what it was. And he explained to me that, kids from around the country, it's an invitation league only. You can't say I want to play. There's no tryout. It's pretty much a cream of the crop east of the Mississippi. And I did not know that. And so when he said it was a chance to play, and he said, and you ought to do it because you're going to be playing for Demi Maneri, who was the legendary coach down at Dade South, I believe. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. If it's going to help me be better and get a chance to show a scout that I can pitch. And he said it would be. He said, you need to do it. So I said, okay. I packed up my car and drove to Massachusetts.
Nice.
But it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it a lot. And it was a very good league. It was a very good league. I was very happy to find out that I was one of the cream of the crops.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, it's called you see, Bill, it's called, I'm from New England, so it's like there's one more question I have to ask you. What did you take on what was your take on the seafood up on the Cape? And what's your favorite type of seafood to eat up there?
Well, I really enjoy the seafood. Being from Florida, living on the St. Johns River and having the Atlantic Ocean so close, I was very well aware of good seafood and fresh seafood. And then when I get up to Cape Cod, I mean, it kicked it up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing like the lobsters that you can get up there. And, of course, you're right on the seafood border as well. And I tell you what, I loved it. I loved every minute. I tried everything I could get my hands on.
Nice.
That's
the one thing.
Like eat like that in college because we made money so I could eat out of it. That's shrimp.
Nice. It's called the one thing it's called. I'm going to Portland, Maine in a couple weeks, and when I get there, I've got lobster that's calling my name. So looking forward to going back to my New England roots, Bill.
That's awesome, and lobster is my favorite. When I was in Rochester, we were playing in AAA. We played in where did Cleveland have a AAA team up there?
Columbus.
Old Orchard Beach.
Okay.
Oh yes, yes.
And I picked my lobster out of a trap. I said, "I'll take that one right there." And then took it back to the hotel. And the restaurant that was at the connected hotel, they cooked them for us.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Now, you can't get any better than that. I picked up my lobster out of the trap. So I wish you luck and enjoy one for me while you're there.
I will. I sure will, Bill. Sure will, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, Bill. I remember the time. I think I met you a couple years ago at the Ken Singleton. Celebrity, when he had that golf tournament. And
the Cool Kids campaign?
Yeah, and the shrimp night, at the shrimp fest and all that stuff. And my girlfriend was with me, and I tell these people the story. It was between one last crab between Joe Ursulak and my girlfriend. And they both looking at each other, and Joe goes, "You can have that one." And I'm like, and my girlfriend loves crab meat, crab, and all. And I tell her that story all the time. And she's like, "I wasn't mean to him." I was like, no, you weren't. But it was funny. It was like two countries looking at each other, going,
"Right,
what do you want?"
Well, I'm glad Joe showed his chivalry and gave it to her.
Yeah, but I want to ask you about the. You play a lot of charity golf, and when you can, what was it like playing for the Cool Kids thing? Because I think that was pretty cool when Ken still does it, but I don't. I know how big is it now, but back then it was pretty big.
It was big back then. Don't know either. I haven't been since I moved to Florida, which was 5.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, it was always a real treat because he always brought in some big guns. He brought in some very big names and very talented people and really good people. I mean, it's not one of those things, okay, who's the biggest name I can get? Who's the biggest name that's got a great personality, does things for the community, and it's my kind of guy. Singy was great about that, and I don't remember what year it was, but I got to meet one of my childhood heroes, Dan Jansen.
Nice, that's cool.
I was watching the Olympics, and he was speed skating and winning gold, and I couldn't believe there's Dan Jansen. I was telling my wife, and she didn't know who he was. I said, "That's Dan Jansen." "Well, I don't know who that is, Bill." I said, "Oh, God, he's one of the greatest speed skaters there is." And so it was really cool. And he brought those that level in, and it raised a lot of money for his charity. And I think that's great. Ken does a great job. Yeah,
I got a chance to meet Gary Carter because Gary Carter was my idol as a kid. And I met him for the first time there years ago. And his the story I have real quick is Carter's bag was about to fall off his golf cart. So I was like, I put my right foot out to stop it from falling out, and I blocked it from falling off the golf cart. And Carter turned to look at me and goes, "All right, dude, good job." I go, I'm like, "Thanks, man." Yeah. And then like 2 years later or 3 years later, he was back again, and I went to see him at practice, teeing off, practicing and all that stuff. And I, "Hi, Mr. Carter, how you doing?" "Yeah, I'm Chris Heidel." And he goes, "I know you. You the one who saved my clothes a couple years ago." I'm like,
he remembered.
Yeah, I was. And he's like, "How are you doing today?" I'm like, "I'm doing great." And I was like, "Can I interview you?" He's like, "Sure." And to me, the first time I met him, I was like so nervous. I'm like, "This is my idol." Yeah. I grew up watching, and I moved down. My parents and I moved down here to Baltimore in 1987. And one year I was actually in the Mets. My dad got number 8 for me. And somebody goes, "Oh, you're Cal Ripken." I'm like, my dad goes, "No, Gary Carter. Get it right."
Carter,
Get it right, man.
Yeah, I've heard he was a good guy. I've only met him once, but everybody says Gary Carter was a good dude, so that's great.
Yeah, and sadly passed away with the cancer and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I hope you and your family have a great rest of your week down there, and we'll hopefully talk to you a little more, and we'll get that video fix thing down the road.
Yes, that'd be great, Chris. And thank you very much. I enjoy being on your podcast. Good luck to you as well.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
See you. All right, bye. All right, that's good.
That was fun.
That was Bill Swaggerty from former Oriole. So he'll be joining us in the future. Hopefully, we'll get the video thing fixed because I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Yeah, yeah. So it's 8:18 here on a beautiful, nice evening here on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're waiting for Priscilla to join us. I don't know if Priscilla's having problems with the link or whatever, because she should be joining us soon. Because I sent it to her. Let's see. Send a photo. Yeah.
Got you be on. And it's like, oh yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
We have to say this. On behalf of all of us at Herb FM Radio, we want to say happy anniversary to 5 years of the ACC network on this.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like we have been around some incredible people at the ACC network over the years, you know, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, Roddy Jones, Eddie Royal, Justin Walters, who we saw in Charlotte in July. Of course, our good friend Amanda Brooks, who has always helped us, you know, when it comes to guest involving ESPN. So on behalf of all of us here, we want to say cheers to 5 years of the ACC network and continued success, because they always have great broadcasting, you know, from all the ACC schools.
Yeah, no, she's a very good person here. So are you ready? Are you?
God, is she ready?
Join us? I hope so.
I hope so, because I want to. All I know is it's called.
Big news coming out of ESPN is reporting that Florida State has completed the court-ordered mediation with no result to the lawsuit. So
I heard that. Yeah.
All right, so she's going to click on the link. So in the meantime, let's we're waiting for her. I'm trying to get a video programmed here. But so anyway, so back to Florida State and the ACC. We were down there during the ACC kickoff, and the Commissioner Phelps was not really pleased about it.
No, he wasn't.
He was really animated about the lawsuit and all that stuff. So folks, we'll have Danielle on Saturday. Danielle Kelly, she does all that labor litigation stuff.
Yep.
And we'll talk to her about it. But
it's called. Don't forget, guys. 3:30 p.m. Saturday here on Herbert Sports Radio. We will break down the game between Georgia Tech and Florida State. So tell your friends, tell your family to go follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, and Twitter /X. So we can get as many viewers as we can for our post-game show on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. So let me bring this hype video in. Let's see, download it perfectly. All right, here it is. Let's bring this in. Why is it not working? Hello.
I don't know.
No, there it is. So we'll play this until we get Priscilla on, and then we'll get Coach Wilson will be joining us around 8:30. We'll try to, I don't know what's going on with her. Maybe you could send her a message, Adam.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going on with the links tonight. I know I sent them out there. I emailed them all.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did everybody 3 times.
I can ask it because I can ask if she got the link and if she's ready.
Okay. Yeah, ask her if there's any issues or if she's having problems with it.
I will. Hold on.
All right, cool. All right. So in the meantime, I'm trying to get this video lined up here. Oh, come on, computer. Hello. Hello. All right. Well, in the meantime, here, what's up? Oh, on this date, let's just do some stuff in the meantime. On this date, folks, in 1989, this gentleman got the biggest strikeout of his career.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ryan Express was his 5,000th strikeout, and it's never.
Oh
been-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On Saturday, Florida State will not have Alex Atkins available versus Georgia Tech.
Okay, he's out was because of injury. Okay, so all right, folks. Let's play this. I found the hype video for this year for Florida State. We'll play it until we get a hold of Priscilla or Coach Wilson will be joining us. So we'll try to. If she wants to come on a little bit later, if she's having problems, we can have her with Coleman. It'll be fun.
Fine.
So all right, here it is.
Every time that I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dusk to dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues and lives to pay. Lived and learned from fools and from sages. You know it's true. All the things come back to you. See women, see fire, see fall after see fire. See women, it's just like that. Place tomorrow, time will take you away.
All right, folks. That was the hype video for this year on Florida State football, and we were there I was there for most of it last year.
All right.
Yeah,
Chris, I'm going to bring in Priscilla.
Okay. Well, we got Coach Wilson right now, so you get her. You want to get her on, at 9:00. Tell her at 9:00 if she's available.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, tell her that we'll talk Georgia Tech and Florida State with her at 9. Okay. Because we have that opening spot. Okay.
Yeah, I will.
All right, cool. All right, let me bring in this next gentleman. This is the head coach that we know very well. Morgan State is let's see what Morgan State is doing right now. Morgan State, I gotta get their football schedule up here before we get them on. I know Morgan State is supposed to be taking on somebody big in the first semester of the first game of the year. Oh, so taking on Hampton University, who we will have the coach on later in the show.
Yes,
from Hampton University. We'll have him on around 9:30 Eastern time. And Priscilla Proctor, if she could join us at 9:00, she could stay on if she wants to.
Yeah, it's called.
I don't know what's going on. So.
Well, it's called
weather.
Yeah, it's called. We'll get around to
Let's bring in the head coach of Morgan State football, Coach Damon Wilson. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for coming on tonight by the live audio. So thanks for coming on. So how's camp coming on tonight? Camp recently. How's camp?
Camp's winding down camp last Friday and went pretty well. Tried to stay pretty healthy getting through it, and we're getting prepared to play Hampton University next week. So school classes started this week, so the guys got acclimated or getting acclimated to the academics, and at the same time preparing to play a football game.
Yeah, we're gonna have the coach from Hampton University on later around 9:30. So what's it like? You haven't played these guys at your school. You haven't played them, but the school hasn't played them since 2016. What do they look like on film getting ready? Because they used to be in the MEAC conference. Now they're in the CAA.
Right. Yeah. Hampton's a very good team, man. They had some very good games last year, and coach is taking over as the head coach this year. Now, he was a position coach last year, so I know he's going to have those guys ready to play. We had a game against Richmond last year. Richmond's in their conference, so we were able to see them a little bit against Richmond and some other games they played. But they have some guys that make you stay up late at night watching film. That's for sure.
Adam, you have a question for Coach?
I do. So, Coach, going into this year, what are your expectations, for Morgan State?
Well, one thing we talk about is getting better, each and every day. But our overall goal is to win the championship. We understand we can't do that without, taking it one game at a time and focusing on the little things. But that's our ultimate goal. And I think we can accomplish that if we take care of the little things and handle business the right way.
That's true. Talk about your quarterback. Who's going to be this time next week getting ready for this big game against Hampton University? Who's going to be under center?
Todd will be our starting quarterback. We named Todd Smith starting quarterback. He's the guy that finished off last year for us. We had a very competitive camp with a few other quarterbacks, but Todd will get to start against Hampton.
Yeah, so in these first games, Coach, I know you've been doing these for a very long time, first game of the year. It's almost like a preseason game for you because you really don't practice against anybody else except for you guys every day camp. So it's almost like a NFL preseason game for you. So what is your mindset to go into this? I know you want a victory and start 1-0 and keep moving down the line of your schedule, but these games early August, it's almost like a preseason game.
Well, and the only difference is preseason game, they don't count against your regular record. Right. So these games count, they count. But for us, we're fortunate in the MEAC conference to have some non-conference games early in the year. But one thing as a head coach you want to do in the first game and the first couple games is make sure we don't have any self-inflicted wounds is what we call it. Any pre-snap penalties, we want to eliminate turnovers, some things that you may have an opportunity to iron out during the preseason. You want to make sure you eliminate those situations during the early part of your season, week 1, week 2, because since we haven't like you said, play it against anyone else defensively. You want to make sure that you secure your tackles. You don't want to make sure you're out there not arm tackling and that sort of thing, just because we haven't tackled a lot during the course of camp.
And you got to keep your players cool, calm, and collected, because they're going to be very fired up for this game. They didn't want to hit somebody else besides with a different helmet instead of you guys. They're ready to. Yeah, and I know I did Bowie State football years ago with you. I remember the first game up in Massachusetts. You guys were all fired up, ready to go, because you're done with practice and preseason stuff, and you just want to hit somebody real quick. And that's one of those things you got to do in the first game. You got to get that one big hit out of the way, and then you're good to go.
Oh, indeed. Those guys are definitely fired up to see another colored jersey. And like I said, we're going to have our work cut out for us. But, coaches have done a good job preparing the guys, and we have another week of preparation. And so we're excited about our fans traveling down to Hampton to support us. And I look forward to a very competitive football game.
Was this game supposed to be up in New Jersey before she got changed to go down?
Yes, it was scheduled for the Brick City Classic, and then I had to move locations because of scheduling conflict.
Okay. I remember sometime we had to go on in May. You said something about that, and I'm like,
right.
So
that's correct.
Yeah, let's talk about the MEAC, because people don't realize how great this conference is. You got Howard, who won last year the title. You guys, NC, you still have North Carolina Central. You still have South Carolina State, and all the good MEAC schools. Just talk about the competition. Is it still good every year for you? That more keeps you up the challenges ready for you?
Without a doubt, it's a very competitive conference, and like I said, we have 6 non-conference games before we jump into our conference play, and we have 5 conference games right in a row. So once again, it's hard to lose one MEAC game and still have a chance to make it to the championship game. So each week you must be be ready to play. And like I said, it's very competitive throughout the conference. And there's no weeks off. No weeks off. So the non-conference schedule gives you the opportunity to prepare for the conference games. But once again, it's towards the end of the season, and you must be hitting on all cylinders to have a chance.
Yeah, I was looking at your schedule. Hopefully this time you can beat a MEAC school, because I know last year you had Akron on the ropes, at the last minute. So you got Ohio University. Hopefully after that, after Towson, you guys can be 2-0 and go out to or 1-1 and go out there, or whatever the record is. But I know you want to get that big Power 5 win underneath your belt.
Oh, that'd be great. But like I said, we have our work cut out for us the first few weeks with 2 very good CAA teams that we have to prepare for.
Adam, you have another question?
Yeah, I do. So, for people who the MEAC conference has a really good relationship with ESPN, and you guys are going to have all of your MEAC games on ESPN Plus. So, what's it like for people, to watch Morgan State football across the country, around the world, during college football season?
Man, that's great. In recruiting, to be able to tell recruits that you will be on ESPN every week is great. When you talk about the conference games, that relationship is very strong, and it's a great recruiting tool, and it's great exposure for our conference and our university. So we would like to take full advantage of those games and make sure that we have a positive product on the football field.
Exactly, and bring some. Hope you guys have sellouts this year, because you guys have a really nice stadium. I like it; it's really nice, and hopefully the stuff around there goes away like we had last year. The bad stuff. Hopefully that's away from the stadium. Oh,
indeed, man. The university is a beautiful campus, and our administration has done a great job putting certain things in place to eliminate folks from that don't belong on campus not coming to campus. So I think we definitely increase some things that we do around campus to eliminate those distractions.
Well, I do have one last question to ask you. And now you're getting yourself ready for the regular season. And today's Thursday, you got Friday, Saturday, you got all next week. How do you keep yourself?
I think I lost you.
How do you keep yourself focused? Because I know you want to probably work on something different and say, "Oh, I get this trick play I want to do."
I think I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear you? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. I don't know. We lost him. Chris Wilson, can you hear
Hello.
us? Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Let me try to log back in. Okay, hold on a second.
All right, go for it.
All right. I don't know. We're having wave issues tonight.
In technology, wonderful folks.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, Chris Wilson, can you hear us? No, he's done. All right.
You think you lost audio?
Yeah, we lost him. Yeah.
Oh, it's called. Oh well.
I think I lost you. Yeah. Just log back in. Let's see if you can log back in. Log.
Yeah.
Back in. Yeah. So that was Coach Damon Wilson, the head coach at Boykin State football. A good friend of ours here on the program.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I told him to log back in. Log out, log back in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, to give you guys a Major League Baseball update for you guys. Right now, a 3-1 Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
Down in Turner Field, and we all know how Atlanta Braves need to win to catch the Phillies. So I'll see our good friend and Phillies fan Bill O'Neill when I go to Portland, Maine in 22 days. And
when you're up there, we got to figure out what we're doing with the program for that week. When do you fly out?
Friday. 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay, so you fly out Friday, so you can do Monday.
Yeah, so I can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, let's call it. Yeah.
So we're waiting for Coach Wilson to log back in.
Yeah.
Or we'll wait for tonight. We're just having tonight. We have a lot of stuff going on. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, it's called
the Democratic National Convention.
Due to technical issues beyond our control.
Yes, exactly. We'll just tell you what's going on at 8:45. Coach Pete Shinnick, the head coach of Towson football, will join us at 8:45. Then we'll play some interviews we did at the ACC Kickoff. My question to Mike Novell about last year, and then Adam's talk to Brent Key, during the ACC breakout room. That'll be at 9:00, and then we'll bring Priscilla in there as well. And then Brent Vigen, I think I said it right?
You did.
All right, the head coach of Montana State football. He'll be joining us at 9:15, and then we'll just talk about Coach Trent Boykin, the head coach at Hampton University. He'll be joining us at 9:30, and then we got a special treat. We got the former Florida State fullback James Coleman and Rod McKenzie from GoJackets.com. We're gonna preview this big game for everybody to get your taste buds ready for Saturday, 12 noon on ESPN. So
it's coming right now. Florida State fans do not like ESPN because of two people that work there.
Yeah, well, we can't make an issue out of that. That should not be part of what the situation is. Yeah.
No, that's true.
It's funny. We're going to bring this in for people. Did you know this ties the earliest game that Florida State has ever played?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, you have to go back.
I remember that game.
Yeah, you got to go back to 2002, and against Iowa State, and Celica Wallace was the quarterback for Iowa State.
Yes.
And look at this: first and goal, fourth quarter. All right, the Cyclones are at the 1 yard line. Watch this. Watch this. This is why we have a great defense. Boom. Don't think so. Game over.
Game over, and we won.
we had a sleeper there in Kansas City.
Yeah. And speaking of Iowa State, Chris, next year in Ireland, Iowa State's going to take on their Big 12 foe, Kansas State in Dublin. So, it'll be the first time ever a Big 12 conference game has been played overseas.
Exactly. Another on the state stuff, we're going to do this on the program as well. on this date in 1966, the Beatles arrived at New York City, and they held two press conferences, one for the press and one for the fans. So here's a little tidbit, little black and white for you.
Please have quiet before we start the questioning.
Whereas Bob Dylan is getting more interested in rock and roll than he ever was. It's just, we're both going towards the same thing, I think. Paul, please. I believe you have just recently purchased a farm in Scotland. Have you any intention of purchasing any property in the United States? No, I just bought that farm because it was very cheap, and I always wanted a farm. It's a nice place. But that's as far as it goes.
That's pretty funny. Black. And Paul talking so softly.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul McCartney. How you doing? It's like really? And we know him as the Beatle. He has fun. He's laughing it up with everybody. So,
yeah.
Exactly. So coming up in a minute here, we'll have the coach from Towson joining us, hopefully.
Yeah, and we'll call it. What's one game this weekend, Chris, that you're looking forward to, other than Florida State, Georgia Tech?
Well, what, in college football wise?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think New Mexico taking on Montana State because Bronco Mendenhall is back.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I thought that guy was totally finished with what he was.
Yeah. I'm looking for it. For me personally, I'm looking forward to SMU Nevada because it's SMU's first game in the ACC, and I want to see how they do against a Mountain West Conference foe in Reno, home to the National Bowling Stadium. And if you've never been, I recommend it because I have been twice. And I enjoyed myself.
So anyway, let me call him the coach for Towson because I know he would probably, want us to give him a buzz. So let's do that. In the meantime, let's play that video again real quick here. Oh, I know we could play. Let's play some Neil Young real quick.
All
right. Here it is, Neil Young. All right, folks, we're back after a little music from Neil Young there, rocking in the free world. We got the head coach of Towson University, Coach Pete Shinnick with us. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and welcome back to college football, sir. I know we talked about this throughout the whole spring and summer, but you're almost a week away from the trip to Cincinnati.
Yeah, time flies, man. It seems like we were talking just a couple weeks ago, but it was a long time ago. A lot has taken place. We're just finishing up our fall camp portion. School starts on Monday, and Cincinnati's here in about 9 days. So we'll be getting on a plane here next week, headed out there.
Nice. So when did you start preparing for Cincinnati? You doing it now?
Yeah, we've done a little bit with some film study and some preparation, but we will get into that. Really, we got an off day tomorrow, and we will then do some Cincinnati prep on Saturday.
Yeah. So what do they look like? Because I know Scott was the head coach at Louisville, and I know he was there for a couple of years. The head coach now at Cincinnati. Does he run the same thing he saw at Louisville, or is it completely different?
Yeah, he's doing some things different. I'll tell you the thing they do really well on offense. They run the outside zone about as well as anybody that I've seen. I think they were top 10 in the country last year in rushing offense. That is extremely impressive. And then they just hired a new defensive coordinator. He's from Iowa State, and they kind of play a 3-shell type defense that really kind of plays with coverages. So all around, I think it's a unique matchup just in how they approach the game.
That's true. Adam, you got a question for
I
Pete?
do. So, after Cincinnati, you guys, a couple of games in, have to face a team that's well known in the FCS and in North Dakota State, who's ranked second in the preseason poll. So, what do you got to do to knock off the Bison from Fargo, in a couple of weeks?
No, great question. So if you look at our schedule, we open up at Cincinnati. We've got Morgan State at home. Morgan State, that's going to be a heck of a football game right there. Then we go to Villanova. Mm-hmm. Villanova was picked to win our conference. They're ranked 6th in the country. And then we go to North Dakota State. They're picked 2nd in the country. We got a bye week, and then we have William and Mary, and I think they're picked like 14th in the country. So that's probably about as tough a first 5 games as you could ask for. But speaking about the Bison specifically, going into the Fargo Dome, I've had the opportunity to coach in that dome 3 times, and it's a unique place to play. And you've got to be on point with everything that you're doing. They're as good a program as there is in FCS. The 10 national championships or whatever they've done in the last 12, 15 years. When Towson went to the national championship game, back in, the early 2010s, North Dakota State was the team that won the national championship. So got a lot of respect for them. They're a great program. We're going to have to, as we say, play great football every down.
Yeah. Talk about your defense this year. I know last year you guys were in some games, lost some games by 7 points, finished 5-6 in your first season, overall 4-4 in the conference. What do you have to do with the defense to get better? Because you gave up 32 points a game. Your defense did. Is that something you guys worked on during practice and in camp?
No, we're going to. Yeah, most definitely. 32 points is way too many. That's something that, really we have put a big emphasis on this year. Like how our defense is playing right now, we got a lot of young guys flying around with some transfers and returners that we brought in. So I'm excited about the improvements that we've made on that side of the ball. But you're correct. I mean, that's way too many points. We got to do a better job, and looking forward to seeing us get that done.
Well, talk about your transfers you brought in, because I know people are going to come to that Towson game on September 7th, and when they're going to look at the roster and go, guy all the way from California coming to Towson? What the heck's going on with him? But explain to the people that you have or transfers that came to Towson to help you out this year.
Sure. Well, you're talking about Jason Doss, who wide receiver transfer for us. He was at Fresno State. We recruited him out of junior college. He chose Fresno State over us. And didn't have a great experience at Fresno State and wanted to come be a part of our program. We're excited about him. When you look at us offensively, we've got a lot of returners back from a year ago, a lot of guys who played a lot of football, including our starting quarterback. We do have a great quarterback competition. Carlos Davis from Mervo High School transferred in from UMass. So we're excited about what's going on there. Defensively, we've got 3 starters really that are back. But with that being said, we got a lot of guys that played a lot of football for us. Journey Dunbar played a lot of football for us at nose guard. Ernie Smith did as well. Evan Ratowski, he played a lot for us at linebacker. Shafiq Smith and Miles Brody both played a lot at corner for us. So they're now stepping up into starting roles. We did bring in a handful of transfers on the defensive side, as well as some freshmen. So with that mix, I think it's going to be a really, really exciting version of Towson football in 2024.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great for Towson, and also you got to be pleased being a head coach because during the off season you had a player, not one of your players, but a former Towson player on the Bachelorette. What was it like having that person on TV?
Media there,
yeah.
And we tried to pub that. I don't think he lasted long.
No, only one day.
I've never watched the show.
Me either.
So I can't tell you, but I don't think he lasted long. But I think we got some good pub out of it.
Yeah, I think it was great because I was looking at the roster, like someone from Towson University. I'm thinking like I got something to do for the summer here. Yeah, I was trying to, and he only lasted like 1 week. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Yeah. Like you just got you just shut out. That's not good. But it still helps out for Towson, and it's cool. The people know now where Towson University is. So that's cool.
Well, yeah. No. Any way we can promote who we are and what's taking place there, we'll take it.
Yeah. What is 3 keys that you want to work on this year as a coach? Because I know last year you came in around February. You got to get ready for spring ball. And you got spring ball taken care of, and your regular season. What is 3 things that you want to work on this year as a coach to maybe help push the team over to maybe a playoff spot?
Yeah, what we really want to be doing is we want to be more consistent in our play, less complacent. So last year we lost our first 2 games, then 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1-1, and we did that throughout the entire season. So we want to be more consistent, and that's something that has to take place. We've got to be a team that shows up every week, dialed in, ready to go. Excited about every opportunity we get when we step on the field. Second thing we've got to do is we got to create more turnovers. So we did a good job not turning the ball over. We got to turn over. We got to create more turnovers defensively. And then I think on both sides of the ball we got to be better on third down. So those are areas that I really just talked a lot about. Continue to push. Continue to make sure that we're doing all the little things to get that done.
That's true. Yeah, it's always little things here and there that makes a win or a loss after that final play, and always you could find you could fix something real good and you can win the game. That would be great.
Yeah, we feel like 3 games with 3 of our losses. One of them with 5 minutes to go, we got the ball. We're down 5. And 2 of them were were inside the 20 in one and inside the 5 in the other as times expired. So we were there, had those opportunities to win those games, just didn't play well enough. The other teams played better. They made more plays. We got to be able to find a way to make those plays this year.
That's true. Adam, you got a question for him?
Yeah. So recently you guys have signed a television contract with Monumental Sports Network, and you're going to have 4 of your games televised in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore metro area. So talk to us about the contract and how cool it be for fans, to watch you guys, locally on TV this year.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for us as well as for Towson University. I mean, first off, we want to pack Johnny Unitas Stadium, so we want as many people coming to our games as possible. We want to fill this place. We want it to be a great home atmosphere. But then at the same time, again, we seat 11,000 people. We can't fit everybody. So we want the people in the region to be able to see us and get a great feel for what Towson football has to offer. So we're hoping that a lot of people, view us while our games are on TV. So I think it's a win-win for us and great for our guys, and then also great for some of the family members who might be able to make it to a game because of work obligations or other stuff, and they can just click on the TV and be able to watch it right there.
That's cool. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know you have a lot of stuff to do, and I hope you have a great weekend, and football's here. So enjoy, and we'll hope to get you on that following Monday. After Labor Day, the following Monday, we'll recap both games with you. Okay?
No, look forward to it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hope you guys have a great summer. Look forward to talking to you this year.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll just talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the week. I see it. Bye. All right, Adam. That was the coach of Towson, Coach Pete Shinnick, who will be on each Monday.
Yes, he will be. He will be.
we're going to be starting our show next Monday at 6:30.
Cool. Yeah.
So get it rolling for Monday Night Football. In the meantime, I know it was getting close to the top of the hour, and we have interviews. I have to go downstairs for a minute because there's Nicole needs a little assistance. So, guess you want to get Priscilla on your phone, and maybe you guys.
Sure, I will get her on.
Yeah, or get her. See if she can get on the video thing before I go downstairs.
I will. It's called. I will go and do that real quick. So let me go and grab Miss Priscilla Proctor, who we will get her on to talk about.
Tell her to log in to see if it works. If not, I don't know what's going on.
I am sending her a.
So.
I will do that. I sent her a message on Facebook, and in the meantime, folks, to get you ready for college football season, Chris, a country music singer named Brad Paisley?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's called.
Here's Priscilla. Let me get you guys on. So.
There's my gal.
Hey.
Hi, Priscilla.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Chris.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, sweetie.
This may be my fault.
I was going to say,
I may have clicked on an old link when I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You're all good.
I gotta go help Nicole real quick. So you guys, I gotta go help Nicole real quick. My girlfriend.
So I went back to your email and it pulled up another email, and I think I may have clicked on an old link, like an outdated one.
Okay.
And I was sitting here and it said you're in the back, like waiting to go on. Anyway, I'm here. So, how are y'all?
All right. I'll be right back. You guys enjoy.
Good.
Go ahead.
I will. So, okay, Priscilla. So
what's been going on?
For people who don't know, this is like a Florida State home game. So, and Florida State has a new quarterback this year, and DJ Uiagalelei, and a lot of people aren't giving him the hype that he deserves. So, how do you think he'll do on Saturday in Dublin against Georgia Tech?
Are not giving him the hype he deserves? Is that what you said?
Right. Yes.
Or are?
It's called.
They are.
They are.
Okay.
They are not.
All right. I'll just go ahead and answer your question. Yeah, they are not.
Right.
Well, I have seen or heard both mixed reviews on him. I've only seen a little bit of him throwing, like practice and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was supposed to go on, I did a little tiny bit of research. And, I know he played for Oregon, and I know he played for Clemson. And I just think he's getting an unfair rap.
Mm-hmm.
Let us all see how he plays before anybody says anything. And maybe that's just this is just my opinion. I always say that, like a little bit of bitterness because he's no longer with a certain team or whatnot.
Yeah,
he's moved on. But you and I both know, and I can't speak for you. I think we would agree that Norvell knows how to pick them, and he also knows how to develop them.
That's true.
So I'm not worried because I know that Norvell knows what he's doing, and I know his coaches know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just a matter of what's going to happen on Saturday. What are we going to see? I'm interested in seeing how he displays his talents on the field. And I did a little bit of research on the 247. It says that he's got good arm strength, big frame, but looks lean and well put together. One of the strongest arms in recent history. I can't read my own writing. Good runner in open field, understands who to put the right. He can, wait a minute, hold on. Can buy time, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
We need that. We need somebody, I think, who can buy time because you have those moments where it's like, where do you throw it? Who do you throw it to? But I'm reading that he's good at buying that time to get the setup. Accurate in throwing downfield, left or right. Upside off charts, future NFL draft pick. Those are not bad those are not bad things. Those are pretty good.
No.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, and it's like
So
so for people have said that our defensive line is just as good this year as is last year. So do you think Florida State's defense can carry us, for a couple of games if the offense doesn't do what the offense is supposed to do?
that's a good question, because I remember last year, we had Travis get hurt and the defense stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
We had the other quarterback get hurt and the defense stepped up. And the offense did pretty well too, but the defense really stepped up. We lost Verse, we lost Fisk, we lost Fabo, Fabian, love it. So we lost a lot of really great players, but we also gained some great players like Marvin Jones Jr. And I mean, we've taken a few from Alabama. We've taken one from LSU. We've taken one, and these aren't all defense players, I know, but we've taken one from LSU, Miami, Florida. We've got some wide receivers we took. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got who else? We got DJ.
We got
a lot of good people.
Yep.
And then Cam Davis, like, again, he's a wide receiver, but like we've got a lot of new players. So it's going to be interesting to see the mishmash of all this, because now we're and we've kept some players like Pat Payton's still there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Chris
Payton.
and I saw. It's called.
Who we still
Chris
have on
and I saw-
defense that was there last year?
Yeah, it's called.
Exactly.
We saw Josh Farmer and Patrick Payton in Charlotte at the ACC Kickoff, and I
saw the depth chart, but
and it's called. Chris will agree with me. They were ready to play then.
I can't
weren't
really
they, Chris?
understand Adam. His face.
Okay. All right. Well, he said,
Do what?
Those two we saw, at the ACC Kickoff, they were ready to go. Even Mike Donavelle was like laser focused, was wondering why I'm in Charlotte today. And it was like he wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And I asked him a question.
Yeah.
And I want to play this video clip. I asked him about the Orange Bowl because that last year was such a debacle, and I asked him what did he learn from the Orange Bowl to make him a better coach, because I think he learned a lot from that, because that was a hard month for him to go through. And I think
it was humbling.
He did a great job, holding everybody together, and and I think he deserves a lot of awards for that. So I asked him the question. This is from the folks from Fear to Spear, who I had the video. I lost it, but I found it. So I want to say thank you for the guys who had it. So here it is. Great game for us, But what did you learn from the Orange Bowl last year? I thought you learned a lot from all the situations with the players opting out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that last game, and it was challenging because there were a lot of guys within the course of a team that got thrown into new situations, and when you're whether it is offense, defense, whatever your side of the bowl, communication, continuity, consistency of who you're doing with is so important, and it's developed and grown throughout the course of a year, and then you get to the end of it, and you got some guys that might have been working scout team or very limited capacities that were now communicating with guys that were used to maybe a couple of different combinations. So it's a learning experience that regardless of where you might be, making sure that you're ready to jump in and capitalize on those opportunities, because it happened there at the quarterback position late in the season. I mean, we go throughout the course of the year, Jordan goes down, our backup quarterback has to go in. He gets hurt. You got third string. The guy that was technically third string and had to miss a lot of the year due to injury. In his own right, he still had to be ready to answer the call. And and that was one of the things I was proud of. Even with Brock, is that you look at the championship game, you look at improvement that he had in a lot of areas. Even going to that next game, and so it's you want to see growth. And I think guys got experiences. some that might not have been very fun experiences. They're in that game, but things that you can definitely you'll grow from. If you bring that the right mentality to it.
Do you see them looking better in spring ball, like they're all focused, ready to go after that game? Like this is not going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean it was. It's. The objective of our program is to go get better. And so when we got back in January, I didn't need a motivational speech to get our guys to go. I mean, they came in, they understood they understand the expectation of our program, and to be honest with you, it shouldn't be driven by the result of a game. It's driven by the opportunity that we're given, that we're provided. And so, good Lord wakes us up tomorrow. We got to go be better than what we've ever been, and that's going to be the challenge, and that's going to be the standard.
So what do you think about that was a great interview I did.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I think because I just feel like he learned a lot because after the national, the ACC championship game, we won, and then the next day getting screwed from the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I think it really changed the way he is.
Yeah,
I think he's more motivated. You saw it during practice this year during the camp. He was running with the players, running, doing everything. I feel like to me that he is laser focused and he wants to get back to where he was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like trial by fire. I was listening to him talk about Brock being thrown in there. Remember, we all talked about that. He said, and then this quarterback got hurt, and this one stepped up, and then this one, I caught him saying that, and we were talking about that at one of our last talks together. And as hard as it was for Brock, I'm hearing now and I'm seeing that he's doing really well. Brock is. Yeah. So it was trial by fire. And these guys, this is why they're kind of like labeling, not them, but people are kind of labeling this the revenge tour. Like they're ready. They're ready to come back. Like they're, not looking at everything around them. They're just laser focused. You can't, all these charts come out. We're number 10, we're number 22, we're number this, we're number that. You can't. Throughout the years, my dad and I would talk about it, and I would say, I hate it when we come in as number one or number, because it gets too much in your head. You know what I mean? So let's climb back up there. I'm ready to watch them do it. I think they can. I think that the changes. We lost some players to the NFL and some transferred, but we also got some great ones to the portal and signed on freshmen. And I'm ready to see what we can do as a team together. I think from the little bit I've seen of DJ talking and whatnot, he seems like a leader, a type, good leader. What do y'all think about him? DJ?
Well, here's the thing. We saw him when he was with Clemson. He came in that COVID game when Trevor Lawrence got sick against Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame in overtime. Remember that first game he ever started for Dabo? And then after that, I felt like he was going downhill after that. And then Dabo gave up on him, shipped him out to Oregon State and said, see you later. He goes out to Oregon State. And when you're in Oregon State, you're playing late night football. And nobody really cares if you're on TV or not because you don't even know if you're on TV or not out there in Oregon State. And then you hear that, the Pac-12 is, exploding. They're all going to different conferences. And then Mike picks up DJ right after the Orange Bowl and say you're going to, as a transfer. And to me, I'm like, okay, what DJ we're going to see? And I hope we see the DJ that beat Clemson, who beat Clemson against Notre Dame. Or, if not, like you said, Brock is ready to go. Bring him in. And I feel like I think Mike needs to do it. This is like I know you don't want to call this a preseason game because it's not really a preseason game.
Right.
But to me, it feels like a preseason game because you don't have an opportunity to play against it. This is why the NCAA should, like they're doing for basketball now, they're letting them play an exhibition game for charity. They need to do that for football.
Right.
Like, Florida State takes on Florida A&M for a special charity event for Special Olympics in Tallahassee or something like that. Yeah. And all the proceeds go to that. And Mike could see, and it'll be like, okay, you can have you don't touch the quarterback, and don't put, you put like a red jersey on or a green jersey and say, don't touch them. And you can still play a scrimmage against that team, and you can see what your team looks like.
Right.
Yeah, I'm game.
And you're ready for Ireland on Saturday. Now you're going over there. Two teams are going over there. They haven't seen anybody except for their own uniform for practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it gonna be like a sloppy game like the Nebraska Northwestern game a couple years ago, or is it gonna be like last year's Notre Dame game when they blew out Navy?
You know, this is a strange thing to say maybe, but I was a little bit concerned about such a long flight, and now we only have a day or so for them to get rested up. You know, you get off kilter with like 10 to 12 hours, 9 hours, something like that over there. So I just hope that they're like not still in that travel mode, jet lag. That's number one. Number two, though, Chris, going back to what you're saying about DJ, what if we don't see the Clemson DJ or the Oregon DJ? What if we see the Norvell DJ?
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
The one that looks a lot better than those two versions. And looks like he has a revenge tour too, because when when Clemson comes to town, I know he wants to stick it to Dabo.
Oh yeah, I'm going to that.
Oh yeah,
too.
And that's why he didn't want to go to the ACC kickoff. That's probably why he didn't want to go, because he didn't want to run into Dabo Swinney. And I know they were on separate days, but you never know. Some coaches, we saw coaches at the party.
Yeah.
And they come the day before, and because they have to travel, and then they come, they come in to see what's going on to grab the passes.
Yeah.
We saw a Pittsburgh guy, DJ. This first night we're there, first day he was there to pick up the passes for the coach, and I'm like, I'm glad that coach didn't run in with Florida State.
Yeah.
But they're all.
I have this feeling we're going to see a Norvell type DJ come out, meaning that he'll probably, I hope, bring some stuff from the Clemson era, but with Norvell's twist on it. You know what I mean? Like his own. I think we're going to see, and also, isn't he a senior?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
So this is like, it says he's up for the NFL draft. Like, this is the year that he's got to like throw down and prove himself, really prove himself. So I think it's going to be a very interesting thing to watch and see how some of these new wide receivers respond to him. What do y'all think about that? Like, we're bringing in some freshmen like Cam Davis, and we've got transfers from Alabama and Georgia.
From what I've seen online, it's the wide receivers that we have this year. I think they're going to be really, really good. I know it's not Keon Coleman. That's from last year, but it's called. We have some really talented wide receivers and tight ends, and I think we'll be just as good at both positions as we were last year. It'll take time, to get used to, for everyone to gel together. But I think the wide receivers and tight ends will be just as good this year as what we saw last year when Keon Coleman had those spectacular catches, Florida State against Clemson and Wake Forest, respectively.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that Cam Davis kid. I think he's going to be real good. I'm interested to see how he is on the field. And we've got some wide receivers that came from, we got Malik Benson from Alabama that transferred to us.
Yep.
We've got an Alabama running back, Roydell Williams.
Yes.
And we got TJ Ferguson from Alabama. What is he though? I didn't write down what he is.
I'm looking at
his position.
Oh, I'm looking at the game notes right now. I have it on.
We got Jalen Lucas running back.
Yeah, I've heard he's supposed to be really good. And also,
Brown from Miami cornerback.
And also, we have a really good freshman running back in Cam Davis, and from what I've seen, he could be like
he is
a wrecking
dead
ball.
Serious. He's laser focused too.
Yes.
Every time I watch that kickoff, he is ready to go. It seems in his mind.
I think he could score the first touchdown for us on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, will give my ACC championship prediction on the air, folks. I say the rivalry we all know will happen twice. Once this year in the regular season, and then a second time in Charlotte. I'm going Florida State versus Miami for the ACC football championship in Charlotte. So, so what do you think of my prediction, Priscilla?
So you think we're going to go head to head with Miami for the ACC titles? That's
Yep,
what you're saying?
I do.
Because I saw somebody today who said they thought that they ranked Clemson one ahead of us, but said that they thought that we would go head to head with Clemson for the ACC title. And they also said their pick was that we would win it.
Well,
I think you have an interesting take on it, but because they got Cam Ward in Miami now for their
we saw him in Charlotte. We saw him in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Nice kid. Don't get me wrong, nice kid. His parents were very nice too. Yeah, they were very.
But he's in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Cam Ward? Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's an ad for them. But what about all their other players? Did they bring on anybody I mean, we took one or two of theirs in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, people are ranking them higher than last year. It'll be interesting to see how they play,
Yeah, that's why
they were
That's why I'm thinking,
kind of.
I mean, why not? I mean,
that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean,
they've also got Notre Dame up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we all know about the rivalry in the regular season, and it's never happened, for a championship game, and we don't know the history of Florida State in the ACC, so why not have it now? I mean, before Florida State and Clemson could say hasta la vista to the ACC, because what's going on with all these allegations, Brazil, like we all do, and it's what a tangled web we weave. You know what I mean?
Right. And who, I'm not going to say it on here, but I'll just say Squidward. You know who I'm referring to. I can't.
I know who you're talking about, sweetie.
Oh gosh, I want to win because I'm an FSU alum and fan, but I also want to win so that Squidward can just shut up.
They do. I'll agree. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think. What do you think about Paul Feinbaum? Running his mouth, because I feel like that guy needs to, no offense, put a cork in it,
Well, that's kind of who I was referring to.
I know what you mean, Priscilla. It's called. It's called. Folks, it's called. Priscilla and I have talked about this online, so it's like, Priscilla knows my take about him, and I know her take about him. So it's like, we don't like him, and also we don't like Kirk Herbstreit either, do we, Priscilla?
No.
Thank you.
I saw something he posted on Twitter that there's going to be like, a lot of our fans are over there right now. And then that whole college game day is going to be full of Florida State people.
It's so loaded. I saw somebody said who was there, and this was just their take, that it seemed to them for like every Georgia Tech fan, there were like 10 to 20 FSU fans.
I saw the same thing.
And just before I came on, a sorority sister messaged me something about 35,000 FSU fans, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. I have so many sorority sisters who are going. I mean, all these sites that we belong to on Facebook, there's just so many people from there that are going. You see pictures of Dublin and you just see FSU Garnet Gold everywhere, and I love every second of it.
Priscilla, question for you. Were they delayed by the rain last night leaving, or what happened with all the
so I heard that the end of Ernesto, the back end of it might kind of hit weirdly, like in that area. So I don't know if it had anything to do with that. I was wondering why they didn't come sooner. Like they didn't go sooner to kind of, like I was saying earlier, get over that jet lag and get kind of comfortable with, because it is when, this, like when you travel like that, you're all out of sorts for a day or two. And like today is Thursday night and we've got one day, and I'm just praying that they're not like all scrambled. And when did Georgia Tech get there?
I think Georgia Tech got there the same time we did.
I think they did too.
You sure?
think that's
Yeah.
what
I
I
thought they
saw.
Hold on. Let me look at it. They left yesterday. Hold on. Let me read here. Because I got the variability sheet here.
But to answer your question, I think it was the end of Ernesto. That's what I read. It was that backside of it somehow.
I think, it's called.
Man, that thing get a lot of rain. That was a lot of rain there.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be like for them, like mentally knowing that they're in Dublin and they're like on a world stage somewhat, not just, to a degree, you know what I mean? Like international, playing this game.
I think
like the psyche part of it. And it's the first game of the season, coming off of like what happened to them with the college playoff, like just all of that together. Like, how do you think they're going to respond to that? Be interesting to see how we respond to all of that. It's a lot.
Yeah. We haven't been on a big stage like this in a long time because we don't. Yeah, you don't want to say the Orange Bowl was a big stage because that was a debacle. That was like not even. That shouldn't even be played.
Yeah, I think the last one was Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta when we played LSU.
Alabama.
Yeah. When we blocked a kick against LSU, when we blocked an extra point against LSU, and a couple years ago to win.
Holy cow, that was a game. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I thought I would die. Like the cardiac kids are at it again, man. Don't do this to us this year, Knowles. Like,
no, it's called.
Please,
once was enough in our lifetime. So we want to take the sting out of Georgia Tech and say, like, all you people who doubted us in the preseason, watch out. We're back.
We coming. I've got my lucky ring on. Have I ever shown y'all this? I think I did. Okay. This is my dad's. Well, it's mine now, but he gave it to me right before I got married. But it is his Gator Bowl ring when he was assistant coach at Florida State when they beat Oklahoma. 1965, I think.
Cool.
So all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool, Priscilla. Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's my lucky. Let's hope it works.
Oh yeah.
I know he'll be. I'm going to watch the first part of it with him, and then come home, and then because I'll be seeing y'all again after the game, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna do our thing like we did last year against after the Orange Bowl and see how many just for an hour. Starting, I think 3:30 should be the good time to log in because I think that would be when the game's over, right?
Well, it starts at noon our time.
Yeah, it should be 3:30.
Yeah, and we're gonna go on like right after that.
Right after, yeah.
Is it going to be like everybody has their slotted time, or all together, or how?
I'm working on this. I'm working on one of them. One of the former Florida State players is going to do the defense with us.
Dexter Carter, right?
Yeah, Dexter Carter. Yeah, he's going to do that. Or Marvin Lewis. Yeah, nice. One of them. Yeah, because I'm going to get both of them on.
Let me ask you: do y'all have a score prediction?
Oh, my prediction? Yeah, I think if I really want to see us. Probably up by. I want to be 35-0 at the half.
I'll take
like that too.
I'll take.
What about you,
I'll say Florida State 42, Georgia Tech 17.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say 35, Florida State, Georgia Tech 21.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on the guys tonight to get them all set for tomorrow. Okay.
I just got a message from a friend of mine who is a Miami fan. He goes, "Nice reference for Cam Ward in Miami. Like he's watching right now." Hi, Eddie.
Thanks for coming on.
He's a big Miami fan. So.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. Tell them to come on Saturday so we could. We like to talk to. Oh, speaking of that, I have a funny thing to read to you. This is my brother. My brother Will is a Hurricane fan, and he sent me this. This is so funny. Okay, I thought this was serious stuff that he sent me. I'm like, really? There's something wrong with the field? Okay, let me bring it up for you. Hold on, let me see. He sends me this breaking news. Coming out of Gainesville, Florida Gators football practice was delayed nearly 2 hours today after players reported finding an unknown powder substance on the practice field. The coach from Florida immediately suspended practice, called the police and federal investigators. After completing the analysis, the FBI forensics team experts determined that little white substance known as to the players was the goal line. Practice was just resumed as the special agents decided the team is unlikely to encounter that the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's funny.
So anyway, we got the coach for more Montana State on Priscilla, but
okay, one last quick question, and then I'm out because I know you got him after me, right?
Right.
What do you think about Atkins having somebody else in for him for the next few games? You think it's going to affect the offense too much, or?
I think we'll do just fine. It's called Alex Atkins isn't there, but I think we'll do just fine on offense. Against Georgia Tech. I mean, he'll be back for the game versus Boston College on Labor Day night. So it's
okay. All right. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to
coming
seeing
on
Saturday.
Okay.
We'll see you Saturday.
I'll send you a new link for Saturday. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right.
Y'all take
See
care.
you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That's our good friend Priscilla Proctor, who her father was Bill Proctor, used to play the coach and for Florida State. Let's bring in this guy's playing this weekend.
Yeah, it's called I've Got the Perfect Intro.
Go ahead.
Folks, our next guest, you ever heard of where the deer and the antelope play? Well, in Bozeman, Montana, they have where the bobcats roam. And this Saturday, the Montana State Bobcats head to a place where Bugs Bunny tried to get to and never got to, Albuquerque, New Mexico, to take on the New Mexico Lobos out of the Mountain West Conference. So joining us now to preview the game and the season is the head coach of the a powerful school in the FCS and the Big Sky Conference in general, the head coach of the Montana State Bobcats, head coach Brent Vigen, is joining us tonight. So, Coach, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And for people who do not watch the Big Sky Conference, tell them why they should this year.
That was a heck of an intro.
I know, Bugs Bunny. You can't match that.
No. I hope we make it there. Well, I think first off, this is thanks for having me on. It's great to showcase FCS football and Big Sky football. I think the FCS right now is in a place where the Big Sky is certainly one, if not the top conference in the country. And the FCS plays really good football. There's a lot of these toe-to-toe matchups with Group of Fives and even Power Fives that go on each year. It gives the kids at our level a chance to play up, so to speak. And a lot of times, the FCS schools end up on the right side. So we hope that's the case for us on Saturday. But really good brand of football played. And, I know we'll have a chance to be on national TV ourselves this coming Saturday. I know our conference will be showcased on the ESPN family of networks a couple times, and we're fortunate to be in one of those games later in the season. So good football, exciting football, competitive football in our league. And ultimately, we play a 24-team playoff when it comes down to it. So each one of these games matters and is as far as, our opportunity to get there down the road, and that's what we aim to do. So, getting a good showing this Saturday is very important.
Yeah. Talk about this game. New Mexico's new head coach is Bronco Mendenhall, and everybody forgot who he was. He used to be the head coach at BYU, and he was in Virginia. And then all of a sudden in Virginia, he just picked up and left. Like one day he was the head coach of the Cavaliers, and then all of a sudden he had a press conference saying, "I'm going home. See you later." I'm like, where are you going? I thought he was going to be in Virginia for a while, and now he's with New Mexico. Do you feel like have you got a chance to talk to him, get to know him? Did you feel like he's at home in this area?
I never met him. I do have a lot of respect for what he's been able to do. You're a head coach as long as he's been at two places between BYU and Virginia. What you're doing, and a level of consistency at both. I know he had worked at New Mexico before he got the opportunity to go to BYU and become the coordinator, then ultimately the head coach. So I'm sure, when he was looking to maybe get back in that a place like New Mexico is attractive. I know he spent a lot of time actually in Montana the last couple of years when he's been out of coaching. I know he's got a place not too close to here, but in our state. So no, I think coaching probably never leaves your blood. Whatever happened at the tail end at Virginia, I'm not really sure. You go West Coast to East Coast, that's probably complicated, I guess. Coaching a lot of times is very regional as far as where you find your niche, where you enjoy it. And, that's my guess that he maybe saw himself belonging out West.
Yeah. Well, talk about your quarterback. You have a quarterback coming back for you this year, and Tommy Milot, everyone say Milot, right? Am I saying it right? Milot. It's just like we have a friend who bowls on the Professor and Bowler story, West Milot. So we were like, hey, okay, I know that guy. Just talk about your quarterback. What does he bring to you guys? Like, I know you just had a great winning streak that was snapped in the playoffs. Who wins 26 games in a row? That's pretty good.
Is that 26 home games? We've had a good run over the last 3 years, and Tommy's been a big part of that. He stepped in as a second-year freshman. He was his first year was COVID, so it was the first opportunity to play. So in some regard, he was a true freshman. But in that season, started his first game in the playoffs, ultimately led us to the national championship game, and then, in his second year, we made it to the semifinals. And then last year, disappointing finish. But Tommy's continued to get better. He's a dual threat. He's a kind of a classic dual threat as far as his ability to run the football. He's a real weapon on that side of things. And then he's become better as a passer over time. And he's incredibly intelligent. So, we look for him to have his very best year. He's 4.0 student in an engineering program. He's just everything you'd want in a young man, and competitive as heck. And, he's got a lot of ability at the same time. So, he's one that we feel like, obviously needs to play really well this season for us to do all the things we want to. And I know he's completely capable of doing that, and, excited for him to have his best year in his senior year.
Adam, you have another question?
I do. So, for people who don't know, at the end of the year, you guys have a really big rivalry game against your foes from Missoula, and I know it was featured on ESPN College Game Day a few years ago. But what's it like to go up against another FCS power in your rival, the Montana Grizzlies, to end your year? And also, could you win that game? On the 23rd, since the day after is my birthday, and kind of cool if you guys could knock off the Grizzlies.
That would be cool.
Early birthday present.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons that'd be cool. Well, it's the in-state, in-conference rivalries are really going away across college football. There's plenty of multiple teams in states, but where they live in the same state in the same conference, there's fans obviously on both sides of the fence, no matter where you go in the state of Montana. In our level of football, FCS football is the highest form of football in our state. In fact, we're a state that doesn't even border a state with an NFL team. So to our people in this state, that rivalry is everything. And like I said, you're on either one side or the other. We have 40 plus young men from Montana. They do the same. It means so much to those native sons. They have fellow high school teammates on the other side of it. They, families are divided, the whole 9 yards. So, it was amazing 2 years ago when College Game Day came to Bozeman, featured that game, put a big bright spotlight on that game, and we're excited the game's back in Bozeman this year. But beyond the rivalry, for us in the last 3 years, a conference championship, playoff seeding has been at stake. So, it's a big time game. It's a big time environment. And we got a lot of games before that, obviously, but that will be quite the day come November, whatever it is.
November 23rd. And it's like the Big Sky Conference has you guys, Montana, the Idaho Vandals, Portland State, Eastern Washington, who have a crazy field. It's a crazy red field. It's like when you guys go up, to Eastern Washington to play the Eagles on that red field, are you intimidated at all? of just how bright red, that field is?
It is different, and besides the University of Montana, Eastern Washington right now is the other Big Sky foe that we do play every year. So in my 3 years, we've played out there 2 times in 21 and 22, and we were able to find a way to win both those games. They were both hard-fought games. The field has some mystique for sure, and beyond the mystique, Eastern Washington has had a really good program. So you put a good team out there on a red field, it makes the red field way more ominous. If you put a bad team out on a red field, it's not as effective, I guess. But it is different. I think it's in some ways watching it on film and doing that through the course of the week. Watching those games is harder than in person for whatever reason. But yeah, it's unique. I don't know if it's the only red field in the country. I think it's the only red field in Division I football. But it's definitely unique, and it isn't easy on the eyes.
I understand. I believe it. I believe it.
Well, Coach, I want to wish you and your team a good, safe trip to Albuquerque. I know you're not there looking for Bugs Bunny, but good luck. And I hope you guys do a great game on Saturday, and hope you guys keep the winning continue. Because I know I was looking at your schedule. I think you are taking on a CA opponent in Maine in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, a couple weeks down the road, that's our first home game. So get this one first, and put our best foot forward against an FCS or FBS team and a Mountain West team in New Mexico. Excited to see where our guys are at. So I really appreciate you guys taking interest and having us on.
Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks a
All
lot.
right, see you, Meg.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Vigen, who the head coach of Montana State football, who not going there looking for Bugs Bunny.
No, it's cool. No,
I love that. That was a great intro. I'm thinking about, I guess we're near Albuquerque.
Well, it's cut. If you remember all the Bugs Bunny if you remember all the old Bugs Bunny commercials, cartoons, Chris, Bugs Bunny was always looking for Albuquerque.
Yeah. Well, what's
I was like, why not?
Yeah. Well, before we bring in this next coach, update at Camden Yards, the Astros have a 6-0 lead on the Orioles. Seems like the Orioles are taking a nosedive.
And don't ask me about the Braves either.
Okay, are they losing?
No, we won. It's called we won against the Phillies 3-2.
Nice.
Oh,
So let's bring in the head coach of Hampton University, Coach Boykin, who is getting ready to take on Coach Wilson and the Morgan State Bears next week. So, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We had Coach Wilson on. He's a good friend of our program. So, what was it like taking on a Morgan State team that this team used to be in the MEAC. Now you're a CAA team.
Yes. Again, I wasn't here at the time when those two used to clash on a regular basis, but again, Coach does a great job there. The program has always played well and hard, and we look forward to kind of getting back to that rival game. And we've got so many rival games, but this will be another one because we were in the MEAC and then we left, and now here we are playing one of those teams. And so it's always fun to get back and playing in some of those games like that.
Yeah. Talk about this. Talk about your team, because a lot of people here in the Baltimore metro area don't really know Hampton University real well. We know that this school is actually pretty much known more for basketball, because I know one year you guys, the basketball team, the men's team, upset somebody in the NCAA tournament. I think it was like South Carolina or somebody, and the coach went up in the air like this, with his leg up in there. That's the only thing I know about Hampton University is the little coach up in the air go, wee!
Yes.
Yeah. But tell me, Baltimore.
Home by the sea. That's our motto here, home by the sea. Football has been a good program for a while. Coach Joe Taylor really did a great job here. There's been some excellent coaches come through here, but Coach Joe Taylor really set the bar football wise, and won a bunch of championships when they were a D2 program, and then even when they got to the MEAC, won games. And so the fight here is big. A lot of good players have come out of here. A lot of great people have passed through these doors and gone on to have successful careers, even, you know, football wise. And so, you know, it's a team that's, you know, kind of made its way through the rankings, you know, being a D2 program, and then going to be in the Big South Conference for a couple years, and then now moving into the CAA. And so you can see the growth that this place has gone in the last, you know, 10, 15 years. They've made strides to keep moving forward. And so, you know, our job here is to kind of, let's take them to that next level that we're all searching for. You know, like I said, they've had great success in the past, and now it's time to take this program to that next level, being in this conference.
Yes, yeah, and hopefully, yeah, with the CAA, you get better competition. I know you guys are taking on Towson in Delaware, and you know, and you got another one from MEAC, the North Carolina A&T. So that's pretty cool. You got a familiar foe in this conference.
Yes, you know, and then just in our own backyard, you know, you have William and Mary right down the street, you have Richmond right down the street, and so having those teams there, and then having A&T and having that rivalry with those guys is huge. You know, people have already called asking about tickets for that game, and it's like we haven't even played our first game yet, and people are already trying to get tickets for the Hampton, North Carolina A&T game. So they understand the importance of that game. But, you know, this, and then now with them being, you know, in the conference with us, you know, that just again enhances the rivalry and the competition. And, you know, week in, week out, you got to prepare for this conference because it's probably one of the best conferences to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam, you got a question? Go ahead.
I do. You know, yeah. You mentioned the rivalry with North Carolina A&T and Richmond, and next year Richmond is leaving the CAA football only and going to the Patriot League. And when Chris and I heard the news, we were kind of shocked about it. So next year you guys are going to play Richmond as a non-conference game. So when you heard the news about Richmond leaving the CAA, you know, to go to the Patriot League football only, well, what was your initial reaction to all of it?
Of course, shock at first because, you know, the conference that we're in, we feel like it's an elite conference. And, you know, for them to leave, it kind of took you back because you're like, okay, what's the reasoning, you know, behind it? But, you know, they have to do what they feel is best for their university and their program and their other, you know, sports programs as well. So, you know, you wish them the best of luck. It was nice to have them here in the conference because, you know, you knew that you had some teams right down the road that you were going to play and start a rivalry with them, you know, because last year we went up there and, you know, first year in the conference, they came here and beat us. And then this past season, you know, we went there and beat them. And so, you know, we were looking to add another rivalry with all the rivalries we have now. And so, it'll be a little different now that they're not in the conference, but hopefully we'll still get a chance to play those guys on a regular basis and do that for the fans. Cause you got people, you know, on our team that is from the Richmond area. And so we recruit that area. So it would have been a nice little rivalry because, you know, we go up there and recruit guys and they come down this way and recruit players. And so, it'd have been fun to keep this thing going.
That's true. Well, Coach, we're up against the clock here, but thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I hope you and Morgan State have a great game next Saturday down there in your home neck of the woods. Because this was supposed to be in New Jersey, but they had something wrong with New Jersey, so we don't know what's going on.
Hey, we'll take another home game. We'll just sleep in our own beds and eat right here and get up and don't have to go far. I'll take it.
Cool.
That's awesome. All right, man. Have a great weekend, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, see you. Bye.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach Boykin on there, the head coach at Hampton University. So let's finish up the show here. Let's bring in Rob McKenzie, who does a lot of stuff for GoJackets.com. Let's bring in Rob. And if our good friend and Mr. Coleman is on there, big game here. So, hey, Rod, how you doing? Oh, he's muted. I don't know what's going on. You're muted. Try again. Log back out.
Yeah.
I don't hear him.
I don't hear him either.
No. All right. There's a big game. Hey, James, how you doing, bud?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, thanks. I got Rob McKenzie, who does the folks at Georgia Tech on. We're going to talk a little bit about this big game on Saturday because I know we're getting ready for this big game. So let's ask you, as a former running back, fullback, do you think the key for Florida State is the running game, or do you think it will be more of the passing game this year?
I think a lot of Florida State's way more. Mike Norvell's offenses are way more balanced than what people give them credit for. Yes, I think the running game is going to be ahead of where the passing game is right now. When you look at what the strength of Florida State is right now, which will be their offensive line or the trenches. And Roydell Williams coming in, I think Lawrence Toafili, and then recruiting guys like Cam Davis. They come in and give you a variety of different running backs and running styles. But I think if you're sleeping on DJU's arm, I think that's where he keeps people honest. I mean, he has the ability to stay in the pocket and throw that thing deep. And with guys like Malik Benson, Kentron Portier, Jalen Lucas, guys like that have the speed to be able to get behind the defense if I'm allowed.
Yeah. Let's bring in Rob. Rob, can you hear us?
Oh.
No, he's still muted. I don't know why he was muted. So, Adam, ask a question to.
I will.
Yeah.
Yes, James. You do a lot of charity work down in Florida, and you recently had a charity event down there. Talk to us about it.
Got it on my hat right now. My head right now. The MFCK Foundation, Mentors for the Kids. What we do is we do in the city I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. On the side of town, not necessarily the neighborhood, but the side of town I grew up in. We do it in Jacksonville, and we did it in Orlando, as well as distributed book bags to other places around the United States. It's really that's the big thing we do every year, but it's really an opportunity to be able to give kids a leg up or a hand up. To be able to excel in academics and continue to do the right thing. I see a lot of people complain about the way the world is, but very few people do enough to try to impact the world. So that's my goal, is to try to do that one kid at a time and, see where it goes from there. But it's something I've done for 5 years, and hopefully I'll be around to do it for the 6th year. But Florida State and a lot of people, other people. So it's not just Knowles, but the community's got behind it really, really well. We sell these hats. If you've been around kids, it can mean Mentors for the Kids, or it can mean quite a few other things. If you've been around kids enough, I'm pretty sure watching football, I will probably say the phrase about 5 times because somebody's going to make me very, very mad. But it's again, like I said, it's fun. It's what I do. I've been very being independent in the sports media world. I've been very successful doing it. So, it's my way of giving back.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you do a really good job down there, bud. Get all the helping out the kids, and I know you and Danielle Kelly are good friends. We're going to have her on Saturday, and I feel like this game has been. We've been talking about this game since January last year. After the Orange Bowl. I feel like everybody's like. I feel like this game's already been played like 16 times on the Madden game. The new college football thing, but. What is one thing you're looking forward to on Saturday?
Victory.
Yeah, not that.
I don't care how it comes. With respect to the opponent, you always have to have a healthy respect of the opponent, regardless of what you feel, and how much talented or how least talented you think they are. I mean, it's a Florida State team that should have beat the dog snot out of Jacksonville State a few years ago after putting up a valiant effort against Notre Dame the week before, but ended up losing it. But I think, I want to see a clean, crisp football game, and I want to know what this iteration of Florida State football looks like against an opponent that I think is worthy and talented, but one that, you know, when you look at this, the amount of talent that they have across the board compared to what the expectations of the season is, you should feel confident in the win. But I think Georgia Tech does some things that are really, really good. And we've seen them in games that are close. They've had the ability to be able to last. And I think that's a good sign of a well-coached team that Brent Key does a very good job of that.
Let's bring in Rob McKenzie. Rob, can you still hear us?
I can still hear you.
All right, cool. All right. Say hello to Big Game James Coleman, who was you probably saw him when you played against Georgia Tech, right, James? Yeah, a couple times.
Played him twice.
Yeah, so you probably saw him on the sideline. So what is your take for Georgia Tech? You know, I know you saw them in practice, getting ready for this trip over to Dublin. They're all over there right now, enjoying the scenery. So, what is your one thing you want to see on Saturday for you guys?
You know, I want to see. I'm anxious to see how the Georgia Tech defense plays, because that's been the Achilles heel for Georgia Tech, and especially the ability to stop the run. So naturally, you know, I expect Florida State to maybe try to exploit that in the beginning, or to try to see whether, you know, they've improved up front, which I think they have. But, you know, people that are expecting Georgia Tech to throw all the time forget, you know, that they have a big offensive line returning. They led the ACC in rushing last year. Jamal Haynes is back, 1,000-yard rusher. So I think Georgia Tech, conversely, is going to try to do the same thing that I expect Florida State to do to start the game, you know, and draw those safeties up and then take advantage of the strong wide receiver group that Georgia Tech has.
That's true. Adam, you have a question for Rod?
I do. Yes, Rod. Georgia Tech has a really good quarterback in Haynes King, and Chris and I saw him at the ACC Kickoff in Charlotte back in July. So, what have you seen from Haynes at camp this year, in the fall, and do you think he'll have a good season in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for Haynes last year was he had a coach that let him play every game and didn't take him out and sit him for 2 games, then bring him back again. He had a chance to, you know, have a consistent year. So he's familiar with the offense now. He was Tech's second leading rusher. So that's an option, you know, when they run those RPOs, he can be a force there. But, you know, I think, you know, Haynes, you have to feel he's going to be even better this year after having that one full season under his belt under Coach Faulkner. That's
true. Well, James, I have a question for you. The last question before we have to wrap it up here. On Saturday, I know you talked about the offense, you know, with DJ, you know, but you know, what about the defense? You think the defense will be a lot better this year, or it is the same? Because I asked Coach Noville that question at ACC Kickoff about the defense, because Jared Verse is gone, everybody's off playing for the Rams. You feel like the next man up is ready to go?
Yeah. If you look at what Florida State's defense does, they rotate about 25 guys. Okay. That's what the Fuller D does. Adam Fuller, you're talking about a defense that gave up, I believe, 4 passing touchdowns before the Georgia game. You're also talking about a defense that swarms, is very aggressive, and they play press man. There's very few defenses in the country that are as deep, especially in the secondary, as they are. But when you look at what's returning, Joshua, while much can be said about Braden Fisk and how he ended the season, the start of the season, Joshua Farmer dominated. And until he broke his hand toward the end, and that's when you saw Fisk kind of come on more, which, again, no disrespect, Fisk was amazing. But when you look at, we lost Jared Verse, but we also bring in a guy by the name of Marvin Jones Jr., who did not have a lot of production at Georgia, but Georgia defensive ends don't produce a lot. If you look at what Jermaine Johnson did, Jermaine Johnson had like four sacks, comes to Florida State, damn near sets a record. So now Marvin Jones' only responsibility is to be able to get to the pass rusher. But you forget, there was a guy by the name of Patrick Payton over there who could have made all ACC first team as a DB with the amount of batted balls that he had. Very few people have, I think, the same amount, had more batted passes than he had sacks. And both of those are there. And you bring in the Darrell Jackson, who is a behemoth, 6'6", 330 pounds on the freaks list. Azaria Thomas and Fentrell Cypress basically were starters. Shaheem Brown's coming back in the secondary. All of those guys that I mentioned have draft grades. And I cover the NFL more than I cover college. And one of the ways to know that you have a deep team is the amount of NFL talent that you have on that. And there's going back and I'm watching the film. Every Tuesday I do a film breakdown of the opponent. There's only a few teams that had similar talent that Georgia Tech offensively faced last year. They did beat one, and they beat Miami, which was very impressive. But when they saw Clemson toward the end of the season, and Clemson's secondary is probably the only secondary in the ACC last year that I believe was comparable. And we played against those guys, and they're really, really good. They were really, really good. Haynes King threw 4 interceptions, and they're very ball hawkish, and they'll put pressure on you. The other thing that if a Georgia Tech fan wants to know what to look for, I'll give a good quick game plan, is the ability to blitz from depth. As a guy who's an offensive guy, that's terrifying. And what I mean by that is most of the time when you blitz a corner or you blitz a safety, you see them creep. Florida State doesn't do that often. They just go from the snap and they get there and they get home. And that's where the big plays tend to happen. So, if they have an offensive line that's very communicative and it can do different things like that, that could be something that they can hold off to. But it'd be very interesting to see what happens with that. But Florida State's defense is something that I think is a lot of people have optimism that it will drop off this year, but that's optimism from only looking at Florida State as if we only play our ones. But those twos, I think, accounted for most of them account for 50% of the snaps last season.
That's true. Rob, one last question for you. What are you looking forward to for Georgia Tech? It's going to make you surprised, or is it something that you're hoping to see on Saturday?
I think for you look at Florida State, they've won 12 straight ACC games. So while they feel they can pull off the upside, it's going to be a tough task for them, and their defense is going to have to step up. If that doesn't happen, it could be a long day for Georgia Tech. But I feel if it's a low-scoring game, I think that's going to be in Georgia Tech's favor, because if they can run the ball, possess the ball, run that clock, and keep Florida State's offense off the field, I think that's what they're going to try to accomplish.
Okay, cool. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and hope you enjoy the game on Saturday, and hope you guys have a great rest of your week coming up.
All right.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Rob.
Hey, guys.
See you. All right, that's Big James Coleman and Rob McKenzie from GoJackets.com and Big James Coleman from his stuff he does down in Tallahassee. Well, we're going to wrap it up here because I want to get off just in time for Madam President supposed to be accepting the nomination for president for the Democratic Party, and they don't want to be on at the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see here. We got stuff I wrote here. Hold on.
And Saturday, don't forget, folks, Saturday at 3:30,
Yes. Saturday at 3:30.
Yes, join us on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. for a 1-hour post-game wrap-up show. We'll have Priscilla Proctor, Danielle Joyner-Kelly. We'll have and a few other former Florida State players to join us. And also, it's called, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you have an opinion about the game on Saturday, leave us a comment in the comment section, or a question for any of our guests, and we'll be happy to answer it on the air. Everybody's ready for college football season to get going. I'm ready. Chris is ready. Priscilla's ready. So, guess who join us at 3:30, on Saturday, and tell your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we want to try to get as many new subscribers as we can.
Yep, exactly. And also a program note, next Monday night we'll start at our new time, 6:30 Eastern time. It will be off by 8:30 because we're going to do that for the fall, because a lot of people will tune into Monday Night Football, and we're done with that. So
that's right.
All right, we're going to leave you tonight with. We'll finish with Neil Young. We started Neil Young. We'll finish with Neil Young. So here's Neil Young with Rocking the Free World. We'll see you Saturday afternoon. Adam and I think Matt might be joining us. Matt was on an assignment tonight because he was doing something, but hopefully he'll join us on Saturday if he's available. But we'll see you guys Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Until then, get some rest and go Knowles.
And go Knowles.